parties, and so for that reason, I think it's unnecessary at this time. Mr. Rivas is reserving a request for release, so his bail is at $1 million, so we can assume that he's going to remain in custody at least for the near future. And there's just so many issues that Ms. Horton is dealing with. Mr. Rivas's mother is in assisted living, so, and she's the power of attorney. She's dealing with all of that. Additionally, Your Honor, quite some time has passed without this order. We've got, coming up on around a month here, where there's been no order in place. I'm not sure what the state is concerned about, but again, everything's monitored and recorded. I think balancing that against his need to have some contact with the outside world, I just think that falls short, and I would ask the court not to agree to that, and if anything, just a provision that they not discuss the facts of the case, which I think is understandable.
All right. I hear what you're saying. I'm sure Ms. Golakula has a reason. What is the state's concern with contacting Ms. Horton?
Your Honor, Crystal Horton, and the reason why I agree that a month has gone by, but as the month goes by, of course, the investigation evolves and more information comes to light. At this point in time, it appears that Crystal Horton was inside of Mr. Rivas's residence at the time of the first shooting, and that she may possibly have provided some sort of assistance in ushering into the home the two juveniles who were involved in that shooting. It's my understanding she left prior to the second shooting involving Officer McLaury. It is my understanding, has not been very forthcoming with law enforcement, is clearly aligned with Mr. Rivas. I'm concerned about potential tampering. I'm concerned that she may end up being an accomplice in some way in this case, which I don't know about yet. And I'm just concerned about any contact between them potentially impacting the ongoing investigation. As far as monitoring, it's correct that we can monitor phone calls and we can monitor verbal interactions, I suppose, although Mr. Rivas is in Island County. I'm not exactly sure what their setup is. I know that here we certainly would not be able to monitor any written communications that they might have with each other. So I am concerned about impacts on the investigation in the case, and at this point I see too many problems with contact between Mr. Rivas and Ms. Horton.
Is there a possibility that Ms. Horton could face some charges?
I think that there is.
Unknown at this time.
At this time I'm not prepared to file charges, but I think that's a possibility.
All right. Mr. Rivas, you are Ernesto Lee Rivas.
Your Honor, I've advised Mr. Rivas not to answer any questions.
All right. At this point in time, I will make the finding that the individual before us is Ernesto Lee Rivas. There's nothing to show that he is not born on July 10, 1972, making him jurisdictionally above the age of 16 for Superior Court. You're charged, Mr. Rivas, with attempted murder in the first degree, premeditated murder. That crime carries a maximum penalty of up to life in prison and/or $50,000 fine. I don't know the full extent of your criminal history. This is a strike offense. If you have other strike offenses in your criminal history that would apply and you were convicted on this, it could mean in a three-strike state that you could face the possibility of life in prison without the possibility of parole. You have the right to an attorney. If you can afford one, that's fine. If not, one can be provided for you. I see Ms. Candler is here. Have you been appointed, Ms. Candler?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you have an attorney. Your bail has been set at $1 million. You have a right to a bail hearing or a release hearing. I understand that at this time it's being reserved for a future date.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
And we would ask that that be indicated on the order.
All right. The state has filed formal charges, and it's my understanding that your formal arraignment, where a plea will be entered, will occur next week. Is that correct, Ms.
That's correct.
Anything else we need to do?
Just entry of the no contact order.
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be all.
I would sign the no contact orders in favor of the officer, and also at this time order no contact with Ms. Horton until we clean that up. See exactly.
And Your Honor, if I could just briefly respond to Ms. Golakula's comments. I have received myself in discovery letters written out of the jail, so I think the fact that they don't monitor written communications is not accurate, and I would just urge the court to reconsider, because this is basically his only out of custody, and I think it's
I will leave it in place at this time.
really impactful to cut that off. This is the well,
Yeah, the other one's just written on her.
And Your Honor, I'm handing up the order setting arraignment next week as well as the no contact order.
Okay.
With the officer.
It's not a separate order from this one, it's just written on the other order.
And Your Honor, Mr. Rivas is just indicating that he's concerned about not being able to see his children. Thank you, Your Honor.
We got that, Sharon? Is that it? Or do you have the other one coming through?
This is the only one for this case. Mr. Gonzalez was this morning, and then Mr. Chetin will be next.
So we're done.
All rise, please.
Yeah,